May 17th, 2009, in the height of the Great Recession, a small Swedish game was released that would come to be known as the greatest game of all time. It was groundbreaking, it had unlimited potential, and everyone tried to emulate it for years to come. That little game was known as Minecraft. And I know that it sounds dramatic to say the greatest game of all time, but listen, there are very few games that didn't just entertain people but actually changed culture, changed childhoods, changed the way people thought games could even be, and Minecraft was one of those moments. What a lot of people forget is about its crazy timing. It's 2009, people are stressed, families are struggling, adults are worried about money, work, and stability, and then this little game shows up where you can start with nothing and slowly build a world where that makes sense, where effort actually turns into something you can see. If you're watching this video, at one point or another you have heard of this powerhouse. At its cultural height, you couldn't miss it. There were pajamas, bed sheets, action figures, night lights, jackets, pencils, lunchboxes, YouTube Let's Plays, everything you can imagine, Minecraft had it. It was simply the game every kid played before Roblox came around and dominated that corner of the market. And it wasn't just kids either. You had adults playing, you had siblings watching siblings, you had people who didn't even know the game but knew the music. You could walk into a room and hear that calm, lonely piano, and immediately you knew what was happening. It became the soundtrack of a generation. And what makes it even more interesting is that Minecraft didn't become huge because it had a story that you could follow. It became huge because it didn't. Minecraft didn't ask you to be the chosen one. It didn't hand you a destiny. It handed you a blank page and said, alright, what are you gonna do with it? Why did Minecraft have so much success? In my opinion, it's because it had unlimited potential in such a simple format. Its basics were basic. You lived, you ate, and you survived. But underneath that, there was a secret fourth option. You lived, you ate, you survived, and you created. You created whatever your mind could imagine. And that right there, the creation, is what separates Minecraft from almost everything else. Because survival games exist, building games exist, but Minecraft made it feel like a human instinct. Like breathing. Like, of course I'm gonna put a torch here. Of course I'm gonna make the room bigger. Of course I'm gonna build a fence. It was never about not dying, it was about turning fear into structure. I think that's why so many of us got attached to it. Because in real life, especially around that time and after, things felt messy, unfair, unclear. But in Minecraft, the rules were consistent. If you put in the work, you got something back. If you failed, it usually felt like it was your fault, and that's weirdly comforting because at least it means the world is understandable. From hiding in a mud hut to making a wooden house, to creating a wooden mansion, to creating your own village, to making a castle, to even a whole kingdom. Through updates, Minecraft's potential exploded. It gave us more tools, more blocks, more ways to express ourselves, more ways to challenge ourselves. And then one day, they allowed us to go to a place called the Nether, a pseudo-Minecraftian hell. And the Nether was important because it was the first time Minecraft felt like it had mythology, like it had a hidden layer. Because up until then, Minecraft was almost peaceful. Dangerous at night, sure, but peaceful in the daytime. The Nether began to feel like, oh, this world has teeth. It wasn't just you versus hunger, it was you versus a place that didn't want you to be there. And then one day, they added something called the End. A place beyond our understanding, and at first, it had a dragon, creatively called the Ender Dragon. Nice job, Mojang. But here's the thing, when you're a kid, the Ender Dragon isn't just a boss, it's like a rumor, like a legend. People talk about it the same way people talk about the haunted house on your block or in your neighborhood. Bro, have you been to the end? Bro, there's a dragon. It felt like Minecraft had a finish line, which was weird because the whole point was that Minecraft didn't really have one. And so you finally do it. You gear up, you find the stronghold, you jump into that portal, you're terrified, you fight, and you win. And then when you defeat the dragon, you experience something never seen before and never seen after. You got credits? But these weren't our traditional credits we were used to. They were something philosophical, a poem praising you for never giving up. They spoke about what an incredible person you are and how despite whatever happened, you rose again. You dreamed big and accomplished your dreams. And for the first time that you see it, it's confusing because you expected a victory screen, you expected fireworks, you expected, hey, congratulations, you did it. You expected the game to pat you on the head and tell you, hey, you're a champion, you're a hero, you defeated the boss. you did it. Instead, Minecraft does something so strange it almost feels illegal as far as game logic goes. It speaks to you like you're a person. But the poem isn't just talking about Minecraft. No. It's talking about our lives. You see, Minecraft's credits are there to tell you how amazing you are as a person, how despite your pain you live another day, that you are loved, that you are the universe and the universe is you, that there is nothing more amazing in this world than you living and dreaming in it. And I know that might sound corny to some people, like alright bro, calm down. But if you've ever read it in the right mood, late at night, alone, headphones on, you know what I mean. I have it playing in the background right now, just pause and read it. This poem hits you in a way you don't expect a video game to hit you. It feels like someone, somewhere, understood everything you've been going through. And they're not just talking about what you've been struggling to achieve the finale of this game. No. They're talking about how special and how hard you are for trying every day in your life. It's a beautiful thing. And when you read it, you feel good about yourself. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Minecraft is giving you something the real world often forgets to give you. Acknowledgement. Not money, not success, not status, just a voice saying, hey, you made it. You kept going. But then you take a breath, you put the game down, and you look at the world around you. The real world. And after a couple of hours, maybe that feeling goes away. Life feels too heavy to bear. You remember your responsibilities, your stress, your bills, your loneliness, your anxiety, whatever it is. And so you come back to video games, somewhere you feel safe and amazing. And I want to make it super clear, that's not weakness. That's not quote unquote lazy. That's not your quote unquote addiction. Sometimes it's literally survival. You go to the place that makes you feel like you can breathe. You go to the place that gives you a sense of direction when everything else feels like fog. You go somewhere where you can see the goals and achieve them. You can either be with friends or do it all alone, where you can be a hero or someone important. From Minecraft to Fortnite to Halo to Diablo, there is somewhere here for you, and it just feels nice. And it feels nice because in games you can look at the map and see where you are. You can see what you need. You can see what comes next. In real life, sometimes you can't even see if a decision is going to improve your life or destroy it. You don't know if your efforts matter. You don't know if you're behind. You don't know if you're wasting time. Right and wrong don't give you immediate feedback. Games remove that ambiguity. Why? Because it's easy. And I don't mean that in an insulting way, because I also game almost every single chance I get. It's my go-to hobby. But a big part of me feels like maybe old people were right. Maybe the boomers were up to something when they said video games will rot our brains and we need to spend less time playing and more time doing something else. But don't get it twisted. I don't think they were right in the way that they thought they were. I don't think games are dangerous because they're quote unquote mindless. I think games are dangerous because they're honest. They show you what progress actually looks like. They show you what effort turning into reward feels like. They show you a world where trying again is normal. And once you experience that, once that becomes your baseline, it's hard not to notice when real life stops offering the same thing. So here we are at about the 9-minute mark. Let me introduce myself. I'm Pojeki, your guide through all things nerdy, and let's get into how video games are an escape from reality and how their cycle of dopamine may have caused a problem for our generation. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with the whole when I was a kid thing, because if you're watching this, you went through the same things I did with video games. You fell in love with them, you played them more and more, you found like-minded people to talk to them about, and they became a pretty big part of your decompression from reality. And let's be honest, not just decompression, but a part of your identity. Some of us didn't just play video games, we lived in them. They gave us language, they gave us references, they gave us communities, they gave us something to be proud of. They gave us a feeling of, I'm good at something, even if school work didn't reflect that back to us. So what's wrong with them? Well, maybe that's not the right question to ask. Maybe it's what did they do to us? You see, I would say a super majority of video games operate on an A to B system. Load up a campaign, beat the campaign. Multiplayer has a level up system, start playing and become level 100. If it has a competitive scene, it gets to be in the highest rank, Apex Predator, or remind you whatever game it is that you have in mind. And this is the key. Games don't just give you something to do, They give you a measurable ladder, a path that you can climb, a scoreboard that proves you're improving. Even when you're not winning, you're still progressing, you still unlock things, you still learn systems, you still gain skills, you still become more capable. Now this is just breaking it down to its simplest form. Many of us play video games because it's far more nuanced than that. There are side quests, items to farm, skins to unlock, a specific wave to get to, or simply objectives in a game we would like to reach. If you're anything like me, you love an RPG game like Fallout or Diablo. There's an overall campaign, but in your time getting to the end, you meet characters, get specific loot from bosses, read lore books, unlock secrets, and overall make it to the state where you feel like a damn near impossible god. And that feeling of being unstoppable feels amazing, because in real life, a lot of us feel like quite the opposite. We feel left behind, we feel stuck, we feel like we're failing some invisible test we weren't taught on how to take. Gaming just feels good. It makes us feel good. And it's not just because of a simple dopamine hit, it's because you can see all the progress in one place whenever you want. You can look at a game and see your accomplishments neatly displayed before you. In some games, they keep track of stats like your KDA or how long you played. In narrative games, you can sometimes see a character you saved in chapter 1 show up for the final boss fight. You can see the fruits of your effort pay off in a short, exciting amount of time. That's the part people aren't talking enough about. It's not just this quote-unquote dopamine hit. It's just not the reward. It's the fact that games provide feedback. They tell you about what your efforts produced. You don't have to wonder if it mattered. You don't have to guess. You can see it. Minecraft though, it's in a weird limbo state of exception. Because Minecraft isn't just A to B, Minecraft is A to B to go wherever you want to see. It's a game that teaches you something deeper, not just how to finish objectives, but how to set them, how to decide what matters, how to invent meaning, and that's exactly why it becomes the perfect metaphor for life. Seeing this, now you know most games can be broken down into an A to B format. But by knowing it, by experiencing it, by feeling it, you are burdened with more empty life outside of a game. And I know I'm starting to sound dramatic and you're probably getting tired of it, but once you spend thousands of hours in a system where your efforts reliably turn into progress, the real world starts to feel slow, messy, delayed, unclear, like you're grinding but the XP bar isn't moving. Like you're doing quests, but no one's giving you out a reward. So Pojeki, what does this have to do with boomers? Well, back in the day when our grandparents or even our parents, if you're old enough, were our age, the fruits of their labor paid off in a tangible way. I don't mean this in a young man shaking his fist at past generations kind of way. I mean it in a life doesn't feel the same anymore kind of way. In their time, life was like a video game in many aspects. They completed high school or even college and had jobs soon after. They found a partner they loved and got married. In many cases, with a job and a partner, they had kids, a home, and a life was essentially one. They were able to see payoffs to it all. Fast forward to 2026, and I'm sure for future generations watching this, it no longer feels that way. And even if your life doesn't match that exact same timeline, you know what I mean. The milestones feel farther away now. The gap between effort and payoff feels wider, and when the gap widens, motivation dies in the middle. Right now, people are saying that college degrees are the new high school diploma. The average person buying a home is older and older. Birth rate is declining as people are less and less willing to get married and have children. Not because they don't want love, but because the job market is unstable and pay isn't high enough for anyone to feel safe committing. A whole generation is living at home with their parents because they cannot afford a life with rent or a mortgage crushing down on them. And when you live in that kind of reality, you start looking for things that feel reliable. You start looking for places where your time actually produces something. You start looking for a world where doing the work still makes sense. As humans, we function on an A to B system. It's how we have always operated. But when you cannot receive the gratification of going to school for years and still not seeing stability after, suddenly you're left feeling defeated. Suddenly life feels heavy. Next thing you know, you surround yourself with things that give you gratification. Those dopamine hits, as the internet loves to remind me. And the internet is right, but also not, because it's not just dopamine hits, it's not just instant reward, it's clarity. clarity, it's feedback, it's a sense that the universe is responding to your actions. Video games taught us that lesson. They gave us the tools to understand the world around us and how to function in it, but then why does it feel like life is so much harder? In my opinion, it's a real catch-22. By knowing how satisfying progress can be, we don't want to be in the mundane version of it anymore, because we've seen that the grass is greener on the other side. Video games have burdened us with the gift of knowledge that boomers received in their real lives. The beauty of completing goals, defeating enemies, leveling up, being the hero of your own story. And that's where the thesis starts to whisper louder. The same thing that confronts us is also exposing us. It's showing us what we want from life. It's showing us how we wish life worked, and for more and more you notice the gap, the heavier everything feels. So we come to the age-old question. Why can't I ever make it to the gym? I can play Minecraft for years, Halo for decades, or even Diablo 4 until 4 in the AM. Why can I not go to the gym for even an hour this week? Why can I not pick up a book and read more in my free time? Why don't I go out and just hang out with the boys? Why can I not make my goal of being a better person this year happen? These aren't the rants of a single individual, because I know I'm not alone in this feeling. We know what to do and how it needs to be done, but real life improvements has the worst user interface of all time. It doesn't show you progress when you need it most. It doesn't reward you when you're still feeling fragile. It expects you to believe in results before you ever even get the chance to see them. If you're watching this when I drop this video, 2026 has just started, and that means all around you, all you're going to hear about is New Year's resolutions. Promises we make ourselves in an attempt to prove our lives. But you're anything like me, you'll forget about that thing by February. But why? Well, it's hard. Like, really hard. It's hard to stick to your goals because we won't see the rewards of our efforts for sometimes years to come. And that delay is killer, because the brain wants proof. The heart wants proof. Your tired self at 11 p.m. wants proof that something you're doing matters. If you are planning to be better at an instrument, it'll take a couple years for you to really notice a large difference. But day to day, you probably won't say, hey, I sure sound better today than I did yesterday. If you're planning to lose weight, it'll be months before you ever go down a single pant size. And even when the results start coming in, they're subtle, they're quiet. You don't get a level up screen when your discipline improves. You don't get an achievement badge when you go to bed on time. Nobody throws confetti when you read the 10 pages instead of scrolling for an hour. Real life improvements are invisible until one day they're not. But in a video game, I'm able to see my progress every single day, every single hour, every single minute I put in. I can finish an entire quest in an hour and be rewarded for it. If I go to the gym, psychologically, I know I did something great, but I don't see the gains by the time I get home. I just feel tired and sweaty. Goals feel more attainable in games because the feedback is immediate. But I promise you, it's just a matter of perspective. And that's where we flip this whole thing. Because the solution isn't stop gaming and grow up. The solution is stop pretending that life has to be harder emotionally than it has to be. If games give us the tools and teach us systems, then we can use those systems to improve our own lives. This is my plea as we start the new year. If you ever feel stuck, I think you should try to view your life like a video game. Set up goals and waypoints for yourself to follow and check off. You need to gamify your life. Break it down into bite-sized activities that make you see what you are working towards, something you can look at and see progress for. Much like video games, you can do this alone or with friends, quickly or slowly. Because this whole thing is already a game, why not make it your game and bet on yourself? And I'm not talking about turn your life into quote-unquote social media. I mean choose your win conditions on purpose. Choose the stats you actually care about. Sleep, strength, skills, relationships, peace of mind, money, sure if that matters to you, but make it visible. Track it. Not because you're obsessed, because you need feedback. You need a progress bar. Likes on a post, followers, how many DMs, who laughs at your text in a group chat. Society is already gamified. The only difference is you didn't design the rules, so design your rules for your life. Hell, in my opinion, you can even respawn in life. It just doesn't look as cool as it does in a video game. We are so used to playing games, we're dying and respawning back at the checkpoint and trying again, over and over and over until we finally meet our goal. So why don't you believe you can do that in real life too? It is never too late to change who you are and start over again, to make a career change, to be the person you want to be more loving, to read more, to go out more, to care more, to make this moment you feel more comfortable in your skin and be who you want to be. Respawn and make it to the next checkpoint, and if you fail, respawn again and again and again until you succeed and do what it is you want to do with this life. And this is where I think games give us something almost holy. They give us permission. Permission to try again without shame. Permission to fail and not call yourself a failure. Permission to restart the run and still be worthy of a story. In Dungeons & Dragons, if your character dies and the dungeon master is a real friend, they'll let you come back as a new person to tackle the story. Well, do that in your life as well. Rip up this character sheet and start over. And if your friends are real friends, they'll accept you no matter the shape you come to them. And now that you're hopefully feeling inspired, let's go back to talking about Minecraft. Minecraft is the best game of all time because every time you die and lose your stuff, you get up and start again. You can do it alone, but it's easier with friends. You can play it however you want and be whoever you want. You can be a farmer or a king, a student or a teacher, an architect of buildings or an architect of your own dreams. And what Minecraft really teaches, if you listen closely, is that progress isn't always about winning. Sometimes progress is just building something small and calling it yours. Sometimes progress is learning one recipe. Sometimes progress is finding your own way home before night falls. It's humble, it's quiet, it's consistent. It's exactly the kind of progress real life demands. Minecraft just shows it to you in a way you can actually feel. Just like in real life, some people know more than you, can help guide you. You can choose to tough it out and learn by fire. There are cheats to make the game easier, and there are hidden ways people with generational wealth have to get ahead as well. Because even when the game isn't fair, you still have choices. You can still build, you can still create, you can still decide what kind of world you want to live in. At least inside that square horizon, that feeling it gives you is what so many of us are chasing in real life. We are chasing agency. In Minecraft, your only limit is your creativity. And in life, even though there are more limitations, only you are really stopping yourself from taking the first steps into being someone new. So pick up a microphone and start a YouTube channel where you talk about your passions. Stop waiting for the motivation like it's gonna fall out of the sky and start stacking small wins like blocks, one at a time, until you look up and realize you built something real. As I always tell my girlfriend, why wait for tomorrow for what I can do today? Maybe the boomers were right. Maybe video games are dangerous. Not because they rot our brains, but because they teach us something life no longer does. They show us what progress looks like. They show us that effort leads somewhere. They show us that failure isn't the end, it's a checkpoint. Maybe video games are dangerous because they let us see the cracks in the system we're told to accept, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. They teach us how to set goals, how to grow, how to fail safely, and how to try again. And maybe that's why they matter. Because in a world that's overwhelming, uncertain, and heavy, video games remind us that we can still build something, that we can still find meaning, community, and purpose on our own terms. Video games don't trap us, they hand us the tools, and what we do with them in the real world is up to us. This has been Pojecki, your guide through all things nerdy. Happy New Year, and let me know what goals you have for this year. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.